Okay, we're live.
We're live. Hi. Okay, so I'm Melissa. Lindsay, my partner in BB Breakdown, is currently uploading our Twitter link and our Facebook link so that people can tune in live. If you're tuning in live, thanks once again for tuning in week after week. If you're tuning in after the fact, thanks for tuning in after the fact to hear what we have to say about Big Brother. We're both from Nova Scotia. We're Canadians and we love Big Brother. We've been watching since season 1 at BBUS, and we get together every week and we talk Big Brother on this platform. So we're about to get into it. Once Lindsay gives me the go ahead, we'll start breaking down this week of Big Brother and all the veto action that's been going on the feeds.
Yeah, I'm putting everything up now.
Okay, perfect. So we'll get started. So just preluding in to this HOH this week, there was a competition to give you an advantage in the HOH, which at first kind of like, I was like, why do they need an advantage going into this HOH competition where we still have like, I think it's 9 people left in the house. I'll just count your team, Lindsay. 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we have 10 people left in the house, and I was so confused as to why we needed like advantage to this HOH. I didn't get it, but anyway, they went around the house and they had like a little step counter on for participation, and the person that reached, I think it was like 3,000 steps or something first, won that advantage. And lo and behold, Karen won the advantage of the step counter when other people were like going crazy to try and win this advantage. Were you surprised that Karen won a physical competition, especially since she had to pee in the middle of the advantage comp?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, especially because it was physical, and she's not really that physical when it comes to these things. But yeah, I was happy to see her win. I think it was nice because obviously, like she gets to the next phase of it all, so that's kind of cute and fun when that happens. I don't know. Yeah, I was impressed. It wasn't an easy challenge.
No. So moving into the participation challenge, it was like 3-part challenge and it was pretty much all physical and endurance, really. So the first part was they had to run over the hill and take the rocks, that was where Karen's advantage came into play. So she only had to do 75 rocks, the rest had to do 150. I really liked how they are coordinating Canada's 150th birthday into this HOH. That was cute, cool, and very Canadian. I loved it. So they did that. Then they moved on to the next part, which was like really intense paddle boating where they had to go back and forth hitting each side to a certain amount of hits. I think it was 300 or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. And Dimitri and Bruno moved on, and then they had to do like discs throwing and bowling, and ultimately Dimitris won the HOH, proving to be the beast that he is, which I was guessing going into like preseason, I guess that he would be a comp beast, and he is definitely proving to be one. He now has 3 HOHs under his belt and 1 veto. Bruno was runner-up in this HOH competition, proving that he's a force to be reckoned with. And from there on out, we kind of saw the week unfold with who Ika and Dimitris wanted on the block. So they ultimately picked Bruno and Kevin. Do you think this was the right move moving forward for them to put Bruno and Kevin on the block, or do you think that they should have followed Bruno and Kevin's pitch to keep the vets in the house, because the newbies in the middle are getting all the vets out, and it's going to be a newbie that ends up winning? That's the pitch they pitched to Ika, because they believed that Ika was in control of Dimitri's HOH, which she kind of is. What do you think about their decision to put Kevin and Bruno on?
I thought it was the wrong decision. I'm surprised they made it. I think it was kind of an interesting move just because I understand it, because they're beasts and you got to get after them and you got to strike while the iron's hot. And I think Dimitri made a good point when he was in there and saying, like, when you have an HOH, you kind of have to use it because you don't want to waste any of it. That being said, someone like Jackie or Dre is going to win this competition. Like the first shot they have at Dimitri and Ika, which will likely be next week because Ika won't win HOH. And if she does, like, I'd like to see that. But they're going to get him out. And then it's just going to be Jackie, Dre, William, and what's his name? The other guy I don't care about, the big lurch, Dylan. It's just going to be them and Karen playing. Like, it's just, I don't, like, this is where the time where it's like, you see the good players go, and then you get left with, like, the leftovers, and then Jackie wins it. Like, I don't know. I'm really disappointed with the decision that they made. It was a weird decision, and weirdly enough, I've just been really busy and haven't been able to watch. So I just checked online to see who was up, and I mean, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I didn't know that Kevin went up as well. So I was shocked by that because I thought it was other people that went up with him, and it was Kevin and Bruno. Like, they just went right for them. So. But they hustled, and I, as you know, I'm very attracted to Bruno, so I was very sad about it.
Yeah, I was like, Ika has just stepped up her game so much. I'm so impressed with her gameplay. She really is, as much as she can kind of flip-flop between being in your face, which I think is one of her advantages in this game because people are intimidated by her, but as much as she can get in your face and seem emotional, it's strategically kind of emotionally charged. Like, she's thought it through. Her and Dimitri's really are each other's number one. They trust each other 100%, both of them. Feed talk, game talking on the feeds, and unlike other showmances that we've watched on feeds, they're not just concentrating on like the sexually charged connection that they have. They really, like, I think genuinely not only are attracted to each other physically and emotionally, because they really are getting to know each other on feeds, but they're also like, they'll go from one moment talking about home and like memories they have to the next breath they're talking game. Like, they go right back and forth. It's not like when you're watching them on feeds that you're just watching them make out. You're not. You're watching them connect, not only personally outside the house and game wise. I really respect the game that they're playing, and she's really thought out all of her decision making up until this week. I don't think it was the right move for Ika to put both of them on the block at the same time, even though it's Dimitri's HOH. I hate to say Ika put them on the block, but he told her even that he would have done anything she wanted anyway. I think if they were going to target them, and they did want to target them, then put the person that they really want on the block, and then put another person on the block with them that on the other side that they potentially want out. And then if one falls, then they could always replace with Kevin or with Bruno or whoever they were really driven to target this week. But I just think it was the wrong choice, because now look, well, we'll get into spoilers later, but if one of them gets taken off the block with veto, then look what happens. One of them is staying, and they're not happy.
And they're going to remember that Ika like went after them, right? And I think they're all like somewhat friendly with each other because you're in a house all day with them. But I do think that was the wrong move. And I she is making a lot of Dimitri's moves, and because he's the power and she's the brain, and we've seen that happen in past Big Brother seasons, whether it be Canada or US. I don't think it's a John Netta situation in the fact that I think Bruno, or sorry, not Bruno, I just have him on my mind at all times, clearly. But I think that Dimitri is so like smitten with her that if it came down to it, he'd be like, "You're good, you go, you go." Like, I really think he, in a way, is intimidated by her too. And I think that I think they've had their moments, but she is like, when he slipped up, she sure as hell let him know. And I think that if she wins this game, it will be a great season. If she walks out that door in the next week or so, which I think is a real possibility, it'll be a real shame. If I'm the newbies at this point, like Dylan, Karen, William, Dre, and Jackie, I am having a real conversation with each other. And I am saying, we need to talk because they're out for each other. Let's let them do it. Let's do it. They'll retaliate next week, whatever happens. And let's us band together and get this group out. That's what I would do.
And that's exactly what they're doing. So,
Well, I guess you
leading,
never know. None of them have any balls.
all week on feeds, they've been talking. They've really been banding together the five newbies. So that being Dylan, um, Dre, Karen,
Karen Williams.
and Jackie. She's not as connected.
He's a no. Sorry, I'm going to be negative.
I'm going to call the core four because Dylan respects Dre so much. Dre is a force to be reckoned with. She is really working behind the scenes. No one wants to put her on the block. Ika and Demetrius, they really trust her. They trust her 100%. And that is going to be their downfall because Dre is, she's been talking all week. We need Ika and Demetrius out. Let's get Ika and Demetrius and Kevin and Bruno to target each other. They'll get each other out. It'll be us newbies left. And then we'll go on from there. And we've seen on feeds this week how much respect Dylan has for Dre. William, as much as he's enamored by Kevin, Dre is his number one, always will be. He won't pick Kevin over her ever. Karen even respects Dre's opinion. Like Dre is, if I see a newbie winning, I see her, no one nominating her because she's well liked in the house and well respected. And I see her as the newbie to win if it's going to be a newbie. I really do. And not just that, even if she does get Ika out, like she's planning on it, because all week she's been gunning for Ika, and Ika doesn't even know, which is the worst part. She trusts Dre almost as much, I think, as she trusts Demetrius. I think it's just a smidgen more for Demetrius, but she really does trust her. That's her girl. She thinks that Dre would never betray her, which she doesn't know she's doing all day, every day on feeds. And here we are. Dre is going to be the newbie winner if she ends up getting Ika out, because Ika will have so much respect for the move, even though she'll be hurt by it. And she will be in jury doing what she's doing in the house now, getting everybody to vote Dre as the winner. So Dre sticks around to final three and she makes it to that final two spot. Dre is the winner for sure. That's my prediction. What do you think from what I just said? Like really on the feeds, all of that core four there of and I don't remember what they're calling their alliance, but they're like constantly doing this.
Yeah.
That's like kind of their little,
Probably Dre, because they'll know, and I think she's the strongest of the four of them. You know who I really do feel quite bad for? Jackie. I think she's a really she seems like a nice person, and I don't want to be negative, and obviously she's quite beautiful and all that jazz, but it is really hard to watch her, and I don't even think it's feeds or not feeds, the show, the way they're editing it. I think she's just like literally an awkward person. I don't know like how to say that. Like I don't think she knows how to like gel with other people in a comfortable way. And I think that that's sometimes an actual like hard thing for people to do. And it doesn't always come easily. Like for someone like Ika, like she's like, I'll tell you what's up, but also she seems like she can have fun. And, a lot of them can gel. And I don't like think that she knows how to work with others in a conversation. And I think people are just really not feeling her. Like literally like, and honest. Okay, so then I'm watching, the way that it was all edited. Like, oh, we're the pioneers, and we're gonna take this woman down, and great. And she's like, probably like, oh my gosh, I'm on an alliance, and she's like, so ride or die her alliance. And they're just saying like, we actually don't care about this. This is just something we said. But like, they're obviously like with each other, Kevin and Bruno, and they're just trying to get numbers. I get that, but she really truly believes they're in an alliance together, because I think she needs to believe it, because she doesn't have that experience. Like in her Big Brother experience, I don't even know if anybody's asked her to be in an alliance. So I think it's, she's floating along, but you know how lonely that must be in that house? Like just to have people be like, huh, hey. And then when she was chasing him around and saying like, well, we're an alliance, why are you in there? And he's like, well, we're making moves. And they're not wrong. They have to do their thing. But the reality of the situation is that they don't care about her. And she's like, well, I'll go in and I'll tell them everything. And like, they all just used her info to go against each other and go hard. And then nobody cares about Jackie. Like, it's just like, it's so boring. And I feel like that was kind of like their worst casting on her because I'm just like, I just don't enjoy. I just feel awkward for her. Like I've been in her situation where you walk into a party, you know no one, and no one even tries to make you feel comfortable. That is the experience of Jackie every single day.
Yeah, it's a sad, like, our preseason, you picked her your first newbie pick. I don't know if you remember that, but she was your first newbie pick. And the expectations we had for Jackie preseason, we're just going back to our preseason predictions here. They just fell short. Like she's not connecting with anyone. I think it goes back to where Ika was targeting her for being shady and kind of like being Ika and being up and in her face about it,
Mm-hmm.
about being shady when really she wasn't being that shady. Just I think it was the fact that she couldn't, Ika couldn't read Jackie, couldn't manipulate Jackie. And because of those two factors, she targeted her by kind of being like in her face, and it took Jackie back, as we saw in the DR, to her being in high school and being bullied. And I'm not at all saying that Ika bullied her, because I don't believe she did, because I watched it on feeds. I'm just saying I think that stirred some emotions for Jackie from high school, where she was bullied, and she kind of went into a shell. That's how I feel about Jackie. She went into her shell, and she hasn't really been able to come out of it. She's not confident in there, and I feel sad for her, because if you listen to her family video talking about like how she's on a hockey team and how they'll play hockey when she gets home, and they were really trying to bring the Jackie that they know out, I think, through that video. It was sad for me because she was just bawling during the family video, because that's probably the first connection she's truly had with anybody since being in the Big Brother house. Because really, she hasn't had, at the beginning, she kind of had something with Dre and William, kind of, but she lost that when she kind of went against them in that vote that week. I think it was week 2 or week 3. She lost that connection because she went against them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she's just an interesting player, and I think she's just completely lost. Like that's how I would describe her, lost, and she doesn't know. And I think when she leaves, nobody will remember her, or at least I won't. I always forget she's still in the house. She hasn't had a big moment. It would.
Her moment was the veto that we didn't expect her to win, and she just beast moded it. That was pretty awesome. But again, that'll
Yeah, but that was to get her ass saved. Like at that point, like it's like go. And even then, she wasn't even the target. She probably was so naive she thought she was. And
yeah.
it would be interesting to see her win an HOH, only because it would shift the, like, especially with like the newbies in the house, and then like she might actually like make some moves. But I think there is a real sense of insecurity there, and a real sense of loneliness, and I think that she's easily swayed. And yeah, I don't know, I find her, she's
Yeah.
not for me.
Dismal. It's making, okay, let's move on to another person, because it's kind of just it's kind of making me sad, because like, in all honesty, like, everyone's had that moment where they feel like they're in a group of people that they don't really like, can't jive with. And it's sad to me that Jackie hasn't found one person in that house that she can, well, she had Emily for a bit, but then she voted Emily out, which just
I think
ceases to
she's
amaze.
just naive about a lot of things. But anyway, I gotta get more comfortable.
Moving
Keep
on.
going.
So let's talk veto. So
Oh,
we saw William win that super veto, or that secret
I mean,
veto.
that's revealed tonight, isn't it?
No, he's had the comp where he finds it.
Oh, I missed that episode then.
Yeah, so he basically, they were doing this clean the house, like they had to clean the house. Big Brother told them they had to clean the house. And when cleaning the house, he found the first card in the garbage can. And he had to secretly go around the house following all these clues and find the black hole. So the black hole was in the backyard in a wall. And he had to go in the black hole, get out of the black hole after finding the secret veto, and make nobody know what was going on, like with him finding it, and like while he was getting the clues, he couldn't let anybody know he'd found clues, and he was going around the house finding something. And so at the very end, when he went out of the black hole, Karen didn't catch him coming out, but she saw the wall. She came into the backyard just at the moment as the wall was closing and saw the wall closing, and she's like, what's going on here? So she didn't exactly catch him, but she caught the fact that there was a loophole in the wall. So what he had to do is he literally had to get into this black hole and like crawl through this tunnel. I'll describe it to you because you didn't see this episode. Crawl through this black tunnel where he couldn't see anything. And keep crawling. It took him like 5 minutes to find the secret veto, crawling through this black tunnel. And while he's crawling through, we see him panicking a bit because he's claustrophobic. It's like his worst nightmare, he said. And so eventually he finds the secret veto, and the secret veto is in the next 2 veto ceremonies. He could have used it the last ceremony, but he chose not to. He can DR before the veto ceremony, tell them who he wants to save, and not have the house know about it. It's his. He can't let anybody know he's using it until after the fact. So say he saves somebody on the block, he's not allowed to ask the secret veto until it's revealed at the veto ceremony, saying, oh, somebody found a secret veto and they've decided to use it on, and Kevin and Bruno on the block. Kevin. And then Kevin's taken off the block, and then the other veto goes into play after that. So the replacement nom gets chosen, and then the other veto goes into play. And so that's his choice. And so after the fact, after the veto ceremony is over, he can tell people, I had the secret veto, I used the secret veto, or he can choose not to tell people that he found the secret veto. It's his choice.
Can he hang on to the veto?
Pardon?
Can he hang on to the veto if he doesn't use it this week?
No, so he had 2 weeks to use it. Last veto ceremony and this veto ceremony.
Gosh, I didn't even know this happened.
Yeah, after this ceremony, if he doesn't use it, then it's null and void.
Do you think he'll use it this one?
So this is where I get confused. So we're about to go, because everybody that's probably watching right now knows he has the secret veto. So we're about to go into Spoilerville.
I'm sorry to everyone.
If you're not watching feeds, then you can say bye to us for now until after the veto ceremony tonight. Because we're just about to talk about all that happens after. And you can comment if you want, and we'll talk about your comments on air. If you guys, anybody that's watching has questions for us or wants to comment in on what we're talking about, we're more than welcome to talk about it live as well. But okay, so we'll go into it. So what I've seen on feeds is that I don't know if it's the veto ceremony that happens. Like, I know that the veto comp happened and William won the veto as well. So now he holds the secret veto that nobody knows he has, and he won the veto ceremony. And then I know that Karen is the replacement nom. So I'm not sure if William went into DR and used the secret veto, and then Kevin was taken off the block, and then Karen was replaced, and now we're still waiting for the veto ceremony to happen. I'm not sure, but I know Karen's the replacement nomination. And so, and we know that this episode that's going to air tonight is already, so I'm not sure if he uses a secret veto. So in your opinion, if you're given the secret veto that, you know, all the fandom want to see you use that secret power that you're given, and you've not been honored, but given this like secret power that everybody like loves people using in Big Brother. I love to see the secret powers and twists used personally. And I don't think he used it. I think he if he did use it, he didn't use the regular veto. He used the secret veto, saved Kevin because Kevin came off the block, and then didn't use the real veto. Do you think that was a wrong move?
So he didn't. I'm so confused, but so you think he has the veto, then tonight he has another veto, so he has 2 shots to take people off the block?
Yeah.
So is he going to take Bruno off the block too? Like, is that something he can do?
So, okay. So the secret veto is used before the regular veto. So
literally, this was not on Monday's episode, right?
Pardon?
I'm so fucking confused. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Monday's episode, it was on the episode before when he wins the secret veto.
They didn't even talk about it on like the most recent episode. They didn't even mention it. My goodness.
I know, it's bizarre. So I think what happened was William used his secret veto, didn't tell anybody in the house that he used, like, that he was the
But
holder.
if you used a secret veto, wouldn't the person on the block know that somebody had a veto? You don't just automatically get taken off.
No, so the Big Brother tells you that the secret veto was used, but they don't reveal who it is. The person that holds it after it's revealed, if it's used, like let's say, I'm pretty sure he used it on Kevin. We'll find out tonight, but I'm pretty sure.
Everyone's gonna know it's him if Kevin gets used on. Everyone knows. I don't know. We'll find out tonight, I guess. That's interesting. I don't know. I find
If I was William, I would have used the secret veto on Bruno to stir the pot. And then, because I knew I was a veto holder, I would have used the secret veto on Bruno, because then nobody will suspect that it's him that's using the secret veto, and it'll cause paranoia in the house, right? Somebody used the secret veto on Bruno. Who the hell had the secret veto? Jackie. They'll all blame it on Jackie. It'll never fall back on William. And then, knowing he has the real veto, use the real veto on Kevin if he wants to save Kevin. And then afterwards, after they're both off the block and safe, because they're only able to put William on the block after with the secret veto, not with the regular veto. That was the clause in the secret veto clause, that if he uses the secret veto, he still could be potentially a renom. But if he uses it on Bruno, no one would suspect him to take Bruno off the block. They would suspect Kevin, but not Bruno. So I would have used it on Bruno, taken him off the block, kept him safe, then use my real veto on Kevin, who I really want to save, have them both safe, and then in private, knowing that Kevin and Bruno have nobody else in the house but each other, I would have took them both aside, being William, and said, I had the secret veto. I saved you, Bruno. You owe me. That's what I would have done if I was in William's position.
Yeah, but William's thinking with his penis and not his head. That's what he's thinking. That's why Kevin's off. If I'm anybody else with like obvious like eyes, I know that it's William that won something. And that, like, I hear what you're saying, but you're coming at it from a fan point of view, and he's in the game trying to win money, and he's doing what he thinks is like. I agree. I don't think he thought it through. He just wanted his best friend off, and I don't even think it's his best friend. I think it's his like love interest.
No, but that's right. The thing is I think that he was thinking, oh, if I get Bruno out of the house, I'll have Kevin all to myself. But he wasn't thinking about it. He was thinking it. I think was his strategy when he went into taking Kevin off the block instead of Bruno with the secret veto. But if he would have been strategic about it, he could have gained.
Yeah, he could have done it a lot better, but he wasn't strategic about it. Probably because he's 22.
I don't know. Anyway, that's what I would have done, guys, if I would have won the secret veto and the veto. He's in a pretty sweet position this week. And if he
That's why it has two POVs on his face. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, why did they have it twice?
Yeah. Well, I highlighted the secret veto so that it was kind of more distinct in yellow, but maybe it wasn't noticeable. Excuse me. Anyway, I think if he let the real veto go to wayside, when he had the potential to use both vetoes, I think that was a waste. It was such a waste, because everyone's going to know in that house, the only person that would have wanted Kevin safe is William. No one else would have used the secret veto.
That's what I'm saying. That's crazy. That's a silly mistake. I don't know. But then maybe he didn't know he was going to win POV. So maybe he didn't, like at that point, maybe he didn't have a second POV. Or did he? He did. Yes, he did. You said he's had it for 2 weeks. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Well, it's like we have 20 minutes to the show. So maybe we should move on to something else.
Yeah, I guess we should, but that to me, I'm strategizing about vetoes, because the veto ceremony is coming up, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out.
I know.
And how William proceeds. William has, if he made the wrong decision, this could be the end of his game. Maybe it couldn't be. Who knows? Because maybe Kevin will just, like he hoped, fall in line with just William, because that's all he has left in the game. William was hoping. But aside from that, really this week, nothing else was really going on. I think this veto was the veto competition, from what I can tell anyway, because Demetrius is wearing a bear costume. So I think it was the veto competition that you would do. And what would you do to win veto? So he's been wearing a bear costume all week. So I think that's going to be the name of the game of this veto comp. And it's probably Canadian themed because he's in a bear costume.
I love it.
Yeah. Aside from that, do you have anything else you want to add about the game this week? I think I'm kind of wrapped up with my thoughts and feelings on the game this week. I'm hoping that
this week was good. I'm just not I want to see how it plays out. I don't want Bruno to go home.
Yeah.
Because he's so handsome. Also, I can't wait to see what it's like when Cindy and Ned are in the house together. They're gonna rip each other's faces off.
I'm excited for Jury House footage. Hopefully they show that this episode. But the way it's being preluded is that the veto ceremony, I just saw on Twitter, was very scary or something. Ika was scared. So there must have been some sort of thing. What would you do? And would you put your face in this? Or would you touch this? Or would you eat that? Or something. Ika's face is terrified. So I don't know. We'll see when it comes up. I'm excited to see how the rest of the game plays out when Demetrius and Ika's not in power. Unless Ika wins HOH next week, do you think one of those two will go out?
Yes.
Yeah, so too. They seem to be target number one in the house now.
That's what happens.
I know. I wish they would have kept that. Should have factored into the decision to keep Bruno and Kevin as well. But I think they were thinking strictly trust them. That was Ika's rationale, that she just could not trust them and put their trust in them, and that they would still be coming after them even if we saved them this week. Maybe that would be the case, but Bruno and Kevin don't really have anybody in the house, so I'm not sure. And they seem like pretty loyal guys. They might not have gone that direction if they saved them this week, but we'll never know now, right?
Well, maybe Karen will go and then she'll stay. They'll both stay.
Who knows? So, okay, let's wrap the show with just talking a little bit about BB drama that's happening in the US right now. It's all over Twitter. At the beginning, before we went live, I asked Lindsay if she knew anything going on with the BB US drama because it's all over Twitter. It's quite interesting. I tuned into it last night. I caught up a little bit. So we all know that Natalie and James were on Big Brother US last season, and they were quite the dynamic duo. And then after the show, and they eventually parted ways. And we weren't really let in all too much about the sloppy or incredibly difficult breakup it was, I guess, until this, like just a few days ago, Natalie put this like lawyer's paper on Twitter saying like, anybody that says anything negative about me will be lawfully charged and prosecuted. She has a lawyer paper on Twitter, and and then James had like a comeback to it saying like, I've only ever supported you, like I don't know why this is happening, kind of thing. And like had like this Periscope video that he posted to. If you guys want to check it out, I don't want to be lawfully prosecuted for talking about it.
Lawfully prosecuted for sending a tweet. Oh, people are ridiculous.
So much drama going on in Big Brother US from them two right now, and everybody on the Big Brother US and Canada commenting about it.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so that was kind of my little Big Brother fix.
I'm looking it up right now. I'm so curious.
I know, the video was something else by James, and the lawyer letter was something entertaining to read too by Natalie. I didn't really like. I know a lot of fans are saying that they expected this after, like the fallout afterwards from Natalie and James, and they expected it from Natalie. I would have never expected it from Natalie. She seemed like the sweet little girl in the house that like, and again, I'm taking it from the Big Brother edit because as Canadians, we don't have access to the feeds in Canada. So I didn't really see all the happenings on feeds, but like I would have never expected it to go to this extent where for anybody that's like doing wrongdoing toward her, according to.
But I don't understand, like, who's doing wrongdoing, him or the internet?
Well,
Because you can't, like, say to the internet, you're not allowed to say mean things about me. It's the goddamn internet.
It's because she was doing this fundraiser. She's from Venezuela. Venezuela? Oh my God,
Venezuela. Yep.
I'm probably pronouncing that terribly, but whatever. Forgive my Nova Scotian accent if Natalie ever watches this. But anyway, anyhow, so long story short, she was doing fundraising for one of her family members that I guess was in poverty or something, from what I follow on Twitter. The little that I follow, because I don't follow them quite as closely as I follow some other people that I love.
Okay.
But anyway, what I understand, she was doing fundraising and she raised quite a lot of money, like over $5,000 or more. And people were accusing her of not giving it back to what she was fundraising it for. They were accusing her of like using it to
like fraud,
and not actually the cause that she was fundraising for. And so that's what's going on, and that's why she involved the lawyer
okay,
or
so
whatever.
you're saying she's doing a fundraising thing, but then how is James involved?
Well, James is involved because he was supporting her and he was like encouraging people to give money and stuff when they were on terms. And then even after the fact, I guess he was still supporting her, according to his Periscope video that I watched.
Periscope, yeah.
Periscope. And anyway, it's just it's good drama if you'd like to watch some Twitter drama. That's all I gotta say. It's good big after being in the house drama.
There's a lot about like tea. I don't know what's going on.
It's enjoyable. Anyway.
Well, maybe she'll get on. Maybe they'll be on Amazing Race.
Doubtful, but anyhow. Okay, I guess that's it for this week.
We've been at it for 45 minutes, and I only was able to watch one episode this week. I feel like we did a good job.
Yeah, it was a good job. I've watched many episodes and many feeds, but we all know that for me. So if you guys tuned in to watch us live, thanks again. If you're tuning in after the fact, we always appreciate the support. We'll be back again next week. We have to coordinate with each other once we get offline what day works best, because I'm a shift worker and Lindsay is very busy in the publishing business. So we'll coordinate what day we're back next week, and then we will, of course, post it live to Twitter. I guess the only thing we didn't talk about is how the fact that there's 10 people left and only 3 weeks left to get these 10 people out. So I expect that there'll be a triple eviction or a double and an instant eviction coming up soon. So we're going to be excited to talk about that, because of course there's always drama and surprise that follow from an instant eviction or a triple eviction, as we saw in season 3. So we'll be back to talk about all that next week. And thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.